remember what I said about these subsidiaries in each country, and one of the pyramids, the hierarchical pyramids in each country they control is the medical system. And let me emphasize this. You need to control very few people directly to control these pyramids. You only have to control the people in the positions that dictate what the policy is going to be in the pyramid. You don't have to control knowingly large numbers of people. You just need the key positions. And so, for instance, it is no accident that people around Boris Johnson, in dark suits, never seen a ballot box in their life, who were directing the lockdowns and saying we must have the lockdowns in Britain, are almost to a man and a woman financially connected to Bill Gates. Fauci and Birx in America, who are the advisors of on the virus of Trump, massive connections financially to Bill Gates. And you'll find this in all the different countries. Bill Gates, and we can get to why as we go along, Bill Gates has purchased the entire global medical system, not least through the World Health Organization, which he owns. So these pyramids in the different countries, America, Britain, Canada, etc., their hierarchy, brackets, cult operatives, tell the medical professionals, the doctors and the nurses and the other medical staff, to diagnose COVID-19, which has never been isolated to show it exists, on symptoms. That was the first thing. So suddenly, people who had a respiratory problem or flu, normally get this time of year, were suddenly being diagnosed on symptoms as COVID-19. And what did they say the symptoms of COVID-19 were? Flu-like symptoms, for which there is a large range of possible causes. But now it's all COVID-19. And what the big area, as it moved to the West and all this started, that was frightening the life out of other Western countries, was what was going on in Italy, in northern Italy. Well, northern Italy is notorious for toxic air and lung disease, just like Wuhan. And the death rates in that area of Italy, compared with other areas of Italy, are fantastic. The last figures I saw, I think it was 2018, in Lombardy, in that area, a few hundred short of 100,000 people died in the year. The next region of Italy, in terms of the second biggest number of deaths in the year, was Lazio, 57,000. So you can see there's a lot of ill people in northern Italy. Suddenly, what was before lung disease, respiratory problems, and pneumonia was suddenly COVID-19. And in the aftermath of that kind of furore that went on in the media, oh, look at Italy, oh, it's coming to us, was that the authorities in Italy have admitted that their diagnosis of COVID-19 on death certificates was generous. That was the word they used, something else. The Italian authorities have also admitted, and you find this around the world, 99% of people who died, quote, of COVID-19 in Italy had 1, 2, 3, 4 or more other serious health problems, or what they call morbidities. So in that area of Italy was limitless potential for diagnosing and putting on the death certificate, which all these doctors are confirming around the world they're being ordered to do, people who are dying from other things. And this brings me around to this. What they're doing, this is part of the big part of the scam, is they're designating on the death certificate COVID-19 for people who have died of other things, sometimes not even related to, often it seems, not even related to a respiratory problem. But here's the question. What they're saying to us, this virus, it kills old people. They're the most vulnerable, and young people, well, they seem to be all right. Okay. So what we got to do is we got to protect the old people and the vulnerable. Who are the vulnerable? People with other health conditions, which put them, their immune systems under great pressure, but also there are other conditions that can lead to the end of their life. So we must protect them. Okay, so we must have a lockdown, destroy the economy, destroy the lives of billions of people to protect these people. Why is it that old people, in immensely greater proportions, almost totality, are dying of this fake virus and young people are not? Very simple. Old people have lots of other threats and conditions that threaten their lives. Young people do not. So if you are, and they are, creating the illusion of a virus on the basis of saying it's COVID-19 when it's something else, then you have almost limitless potential to do that with old people with lots of other problems that are going to end their lives. But with young people, they're not going to have those problems. So how are you going to say they've died of COVID-19 when they're not dying of anything? And so you have this division. This is why it's all been put on old people, because they've got all this potential to put a fake diagnosis on the death certificate. And they're doing it systematically. I'll give you another example here. Not only, and this has come out, this is not theory, not only are they telling doctors and medical staff that if someone tests for COVID-19 with this PCR test, which is not testing for a virus, it's testing for a genetic code that lots of people have in their bodies, that's why there's so many testing positive. If they test positive and they die of something else, you have to put COVID-19 on the death certificate. This is where all the figures are coming from. They are fantasy. So in America, underpinning this order to do it, you have a Medicare system. And this came out through a Minnesota state senator who's a doctor called Scott Jensen. And he said what they're doing with Medicare is they're saying to hospitals, we've got a new payment fee system. And this is what it is. If a hospital diagnoses someone with regular pneumonia, they get paid $4,600. If they diagnose the same person to have COVID-19 pneumonia, the hospital gets paid $13,000. And if they have a COVID-19 designated patient and they put them on a ventilator, they get paid $39,000, which explains why a doctor medic, as many have now, did a video on YouTube, and he's in his hospital, he's in a cupboard area, and behind him are all these machines. And this guy was saying that they're telling us to put COVID-19 on death certificates for people who are dying of other things. But he says these machines behind us, which had covers on, he said these are first stage oxygen machines. So if someone is considered to need oxygen, they have these non-invasive machines where you just put an oxygen mask on them. He said, when this COVID-19 thing started, we were ordered not to use these machines. But in his words, to let the patient crash and go directly on a ventilator. Well, that's another 39 grand. But the point is that not only are you getting the regulations and the doctors being ordered to put COVID-19 everywhere, even though it's not, they're even having financial incentives to do it on a massive scale, tens of thousands of dollars potentially for a single individual.